What's going on, guys? Married to 21 comes to you with another video. I'm sorry if I sound tired. I just got off work. I wanted to kind of share this with you. Unfortunately, it's starting to oxidize a little bit, but I think if I hit it again with some sandpaper before I paint it, I think it'll be okay. Last time you guys saw this, it was really rusty, and I ended up soaking it in vinegar, and it knocked quite a bit of the rust off. It was actually pretty shiny when I pulled it out of the vinegar. So if you do have rusty parts or anything like that, I may go ahead and soak it again for another 12 hours or another 24 hours on each side again tonight, just to see what else will come off and keep it from oxidizing. And then the following day, go ahead and get it cleaned up and get it outside and immediately get paint on it, because while it's drying, I started noticing it's oxidizing really bad already, and it hasn't been out but not even 30 minutes. So I'll probably stick that back in vinegar and do that again. The paint I've been using for the rear truck is the Rust-Oleum Flat Black, and it's a paint and primer mix. I did manage to get some Krylon paint and primer that's also satin black, so we'll see if that'll work just as good. So after that, we'll go ahead and get the axles soaking in vinegar, and because those are just as bad as that, and we'll get all that painted and get it all back together soon. Unfortunately, when I was pulling this truck apart, one of these completely broke in half, so I'm going to have to repair it. I'm trying to keep as much of the original as I possibly can. So what I might wind up doing is on the front truck is put a piece of either PVC or a very small dowel rod of some kind, and go ahead and attach it between the truck and the center pilot, just because it's actually on the other one, it's riding on the axles itself, and the wheels themselves can actually spin without the whole axle moving. So I may wind up just sticking a dowel rod over top of it. That way we can get it can be at least somewhat intact, and I won't have to worry when I go to pull it apart about breaking it and it not wanting to sit properly on the front truck. This truck, at least, it has 2 bolts on the front of the truck, because this is actually the front of the truck. This will face forward, but the other one does not have that, so I'll probably modify that just so that way it's got a better connection between that, and I'll probably do a video on that when I go do that. Sorry guys, I'm tired. As you can tell, I've got all but one tie done on the 10-foot section of track, and I'll have to do the math tomorrow, but because I got all this secondhand, it was some stuff the apartment complex was actually throwing out, so I ended up with it because they weren't going to need it anymore, because it was for a major project that they don't need anymore. But if you look, I weigh 200 pounds, and I can stand on the sections of track like this and they won't bow. So there's going to be no need in trying to fill it with sand, similar to how Larry Guessman in his blog had said. But I also put my ties in a lot closer than that, and the track actually looks more like toy train track than it does real track. But I'm not really going for realism right now. I'm just going for functionality. So as long as it functions, that's all I care. But so far, I'm pretty proud on how the track turned out. The only thing I got left to do is do a tie, and fortunately I had an extra piece of 2x4 laying around in the bedroom. So I'll cut it down to the ties are 11 inches. They're not completely even, which I didn't necessarily do it on purpose, but I didn't do it on accident either. But not all the ties are even on the real railroad. So, but they're 11 inches, so I'll cut this down to 11 inches with my miter saw, and then I'll put it in place where my track gauge is actually sitting And I'm going to continue to use the track gauge for when I start doing um, more track. I don't know when I'm going to get the stuff to do another piece of track, and maybe I can actually sit down and tell you exactly how much it does cost, but I'll go into that later in more detail. I'm kind of just trying to get something together just for a proof of concept at this point. When we get that truck done, the first truck done, then we can start working on the body. I have to buy some bullet connectors, both male and female, because I'm running bullet connectors to the motor. That way it'll just be easier, so I can change it out later for another motor if that's what I end up doing. So far the motor has worked good, but I temporarily hooked it up to the switch. I should have got a video of it, but I didn't. And I went ahead and hooked my 9.6 volt battery up to it, which is probably not a good idea, but that switch that's in there does not work. So that's going to have to go completely and go bye-bye. So I ordered a potentiometer, and then we can just hook up the battery or the motor up to the potentiometer and run it off of a potentiometer forward and backward. I'm going to do that for now, just to kind of get testing phases done. And if it works, great. And then we can devise a different plan and do something different. But until then, I'm going to hook it up with a potentiometer and try to get that dialed in. As far as a battery goes, I was looking at a Peg Parago battery, but they're like $100, and I'm kind of trying not to spend that kind of money on this. So what I might wind up doing is actually going and seeing if I can't find something else. I don't want to use lithium. I don't want to use lead acid. I want a lithium ion battery, similar to what they use in the Power Wheels and the Peg Parago stuff. So I may wind up just shopping around until I find something. But I want to try to find something that's got a charger already. But if I can't find something with a charger, then I'll come up with something, I'm sure. But it's going to be a minute before I figure all that out. I'm tired, guys. I'm going to go ahead and hit the sack, but I'll get this video out as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.